Assalamualaikum doctors. So thanks for coming here, and today we'll be discussing about the series of lectures on gynecology. So today the topic of discussion is the anatomy of the female genital tract. So what is the main functions of the female genital organs? The main function of the female genital organs are that it helps in the copulation, fertilization, it also helps in the fetal growth and development. So let's talk about the female genitalia. The female genitalia. So the female genitalia is divided into two broad categories, that is female external genitalia, which is also called vulva. It is also called pudendum. And there is internal female genitalia. External genitalia means that these are those female genital organs that are externally located, and if you want to inspect those organs, you can directly inspect that and you can directly visualize those parts on your naked eye. While in another hand, the internal genitalia means these are those female genital organs that are internally located, and if you want to inspect those genital organs, you will require a lot of specialized instrumentation. So coming toward the external genitalia. So in the external genitalia, we have a mons pubis. What are the parts that is involved in the external genitalia? That is mons pubis, that is labium majora, labium minora, that is labium majora, labium minora, clitoris, vestibules, Bartholin glands, which is also called greater vestibular glands, hymen, and perineum. So in the female external genitalia, we have mons pubis, labium majora plus minora, clitoris, vestibules, Bartholin glands, hymen, and perineum. And in another hand, the internal genitalia of the female consists of vagina, it consists of uterus, it consists of one pair of fallopian tubes, and it consists of one pair of the ovaries. That is internal genitalia. So the female genitalia is divided into external genitalia and internal genitalia. Now today in this lecture we will be more focusing toward the external female genitalia. So coming toward the external female genitalia, let me draw a diagram of the external female genitalia. So that is the diagram of the external female genitalia. So this is a, let's label the diagram. That is mons pubis, it has two layers here. Now this is mons pubis, that is labium majora, labium minora, the upper part is clitoris, and that these all portion from this to this all are called as vestibules, and that is anus, while the space between the anus and the vagina, that is, yes, that is perineum. Now let's talk about the first part of the external genitalia, that is mons pubis. So this is the mons pubis. What is the mons pubis? Basically it is the patch of subcutaneous tissue that line the front of the pubis. That is mons pubis. While what is labia majora? Labia majora are the two prominent folds of the skin these area that is called two prominent fold of the skin that cover on the both side of the vagina. So that is labia majora. Labia majora, it is covered by which kind of epithelium? Yes, the labia majora, it is covered by the squamous epithelium. Now labia majora, it consists of two parts, that is outer part and inner part. Outer part of the labia majora, that is pigmented, and it consists of a lot of hairs, while the inner part, it consists of subcutaneous glands and there are no hairs in this region. So labia majora has two parts, outer part, inner part. Outer part is pigmented, consists of hairs, while inner part consists of subcutaneous glands. It doesn't contain any hairs. Below the skin, it consists of also some dense connective tissues and adipose tissues. These dense connective tissues and adipose tissue, it collectively they form the venous plexus, and mostly during the intercourse, these venous plexus, it get ruptured and it get torn and it form the hematoma. So remember the point. So that's all about the labia majora. And another very important point is that the labia majora, it is the homologues of the scrotum in male. It means that during embryonic life, the part which is going to form the labia majora in female, the same part is going to make the scrotum in male. So that's why it is considered as that it is the homologues of the scrotum in male. So that's the labia majora. While labia minora, these area are called labia majora, and these the two prominent fold of the skin, that is called labia minora. So labia minora are the two fold of the two layers that is lining the skin, and it is located just medial to these labia minora. So these are labia majora and these are labia minora. So labia minora, it is located just medial to the labia majora. So that is labia minora, and the labia minora, it consists of only subcutaneous gland. It consists of only subcutaneous glands. Remember the point, students, that in the labia minora, there are only subcutaneous glands. There are no hairs and no adipose tissues found in the labia minora, and it is homologous to the penile urethra. It is homologous to the penile urethra. So that is labia minora. Now let's talk about the clitoris. Now that region, the upper tip portion of the vagina, that is called as clitoris. So clitoris is normally, usually it is 2.5 centimeter long, and it is a small erectile structure that is present at the top. That is clitoris, that is having a length of 2.5 centimeter, and the most important point is that these clitoris, it is considered as one of the most sensitive organs during sexual intercourse in the female. So it is the most sensitive organs in the female during sexual intercourse. So that is clitoris. Now this clitoris, it consists of the three parts. Further, it consists of glands, body, and crura. Crura are the cylindrical structure, and glands consist of squamous epithelium. So that is called as labia. These are all the parts of the clitoris. Let's talk about the vestibules. So in the vestibules, this all area, it is considered as a vestibule. So it is a triangular structure, and it consists of 4 openings. There are 4 openings in the vestibules. That is, the 4 openings are urethral, meatus, vaginal, introitus, Bartholin glands, which is also called greater vestibular glands, and there is skinny glands, which is also called lesser vestibular glands. So, in the vestibules we have a urethral meatus, we have a vaginal introitus, Bartholin glands, and skinny gland. So these all area it is considered as a vestibule. So in the vestibule, the upper this area, this hole, this is called urethral meatus. The upper hole, that is urethral meatus, and the lower, that is vaginal introitus. So just on the either side of this urethral introitus, there is some special gland is present, and that gland is called as skinny gland. So skinny gland is present on the both sides of the urethral meatus, while this is called vaginal introitus. So on the both side of this vaginal introitus, there is another gland is also present, and that gland is called, yes, that is called Bartholin glands. Bartholin glands is also called greater vestibular glands, while skinny gland is also called lesser vestibular gland. Now Bartholin glands, it is basically, what is the main function of the Bartholin gland? That it secretes the alkaline mucus. So it produces in a very copious amount during sexual intercourse and act as a lubricant. So that is the main function of Bartholin gland. While skinny gland, it is present on the both sides of the urethral meatus, and it also acts as a lubricant. And actually, it acts as a lubricant for the opening of the urethral meatus. Okay, and the most important function of the another function of the skinny gland, that it acts as an antimicrobial agent as well. So what are the functions of the skinny gland? It is antimicrobial. Secondly, it acts as a lubricant. It actually secretes substances that act as a lubricant for the opening of the urethral meatus. While Bartholin glands, it is present on the both side, on either side of the vaginal introitus, and actually it secretes an alkaline mucus and act as a lubricant. So that is the main function of these. Now, while talking about the hymen. Now this vaginal, there are some fold of mucous membrane at the entrance of this vaginal entrance, at the vaginal introitus, and that is called as, there are fold of mucous membrane. There are fold of mucous membrane at the entrance of the vaginal introitus, and that is called as hymen. Now actually normally hymen consists of one hole, or sometimes it contain more than one hose, through which the menstrual blood comes out, and these imperforate hymen, it often lead to the hematocolpus. Hematocolpus means that their blood is now accumulating in the vagina, so that's are called as hematocolpus. Now, the most important point regarding with the hymen is that this hymen, it is a very important structure, and in some culture it is considered as a primary sign for virginity. But actually, it is a misconception. It is because even in daily routine, it is exposed to so many things. So usually, this hymen, it is usually ruptured during first intercourse, but it can also rupture digitally or by using some tampons. So it's not actually a sign of primary sign for the virginity. It is a misconception. So don't forget the point. That is hymen. So, and what is perineum? Perineum is a diamond-shaped structure that is present just between this vagina and the anus. This area is called perineum. We have a mega lecture and upcoming lectures regarding with the perineum. So we will be discussing there in big detail. But here, the space between the anus and vagina, that is called perineum. and this is called anus, but actually this anus, it is not considered as a part of female genitalia. So students, that's all about the general overview of the external female genitalia. So external female genitalia, till now we discussed all the female genital parts that is coming under the category of external genitalia, that is mons pubis, labia majora and minora, clitoris, vestibules, Bartholin glands, hymen and perineum. So hopefully you will get the lecture. Thank you so much.